Griffin Canning making his fourth start in a Padres uniform this season. What are you looking for from him as he hopes to bounce back from his previous outings?
Yeah, just probably a little bit more strikes. I think the last outing just got a little off and couldn't control the zone and resulted in some runs the first couple innings. So get him in the strike zone today, much like he did against the White Sox, and we'll be good from there.
You guys have the MLB best record in games decided by 2 runs or fewer. What do you think that says about the way this team is playing at this point in the season?
Yeah, we got a lot of veterans. We got guys with a lot of experience that have been in close ball games for their entire careers, and I think they have a slow heartbeat in those moments. And then, it's one advantage that we have over some teams that are younger and maybe a little bit more energetic and younger, attitudes that, we can handle those situations, and, no situation's too big for some of our guys.
Is there a benefit in particular to collecting those types of wins early in the season to build an identity early in the year in that sense that you're capable of winning close games?
Yeah, close games are definitely, momentum for the season. And so when you win those close games, it carries on the next day that we played a tight game and we're able to, do what we needed to. It also speaks that we have a really good bullpen. Bullpens help you in all those close games, and and then we have clutch hitting, as we've had a lot of clutch hitting too, and that's that's a good recipe for winning close games.
You arrived in 2017. I think you guys won 6 games against the Dodgers. It was like 58 to 121 in runs scored. There's obviously been some ups and downs. Talent is a big part of kind of what's evolved, but have you seen just the way the team has approached those series and those games kind of evolve over this time?
Yeah, we probably have a more talented roster the last few years. That's a big help. The Dodgers have perennially been the National League West champions, and I think whenever you're the champion, everybody's gunning for you. And we, as the Padres, since I've been here in 2017, have been gunning for the Dodgers, and they've made us better. They've made us, try to be the best at our game, and we're, crawling, scratching to get up to their level. And every time we get a chance to play them, it's a good matchup, and we try to prove that we can hang with them.
Doesn't matter where he's in the lineup. He seems to produce. What do you like about him so far, knowing that you can plug him in any hole and he's going to?
Yeah, you're right. He's just a hitter. He goes up there and hits the ball hard, hits line drives. We like his at-bats, puts the ball in play quite a bit. And you're right, he can hit anywhere in the lineup. He's just a hitter.
Campusano, what's next for him and Cronenworth?
Yeah, Campy's progressing really well. His toe's getting better. It's less painful. He's starting to do some baseball activities. Hopefully in the next week or 2 we got him playing some games, and then hopefully back on the team.
And for Jake.
Yeah, Jake's still going through the concussion stuff, going through a lot of testing, slowly getting a little bit better here and there, but still not out of the woods, and, a little bit of ways away.
Did Marquez throw a bullpen today?
I don't know if he threw a bullpen today. I know he's getting close to being able to throw bullpens. He's thrown one already. He's been long tossing, feeling pretty good. Kind of the nerve irritation that he had's gone away, and is closer to symptom free.
Rodolfo Duran threw out 2 runners trying to steal yesterday. When you look at the first quarter of the season, in that sense, your team's ability to control the running game, how do you assess it so far?
Right, all 3 catchers have really thrown the ball well this year. Credit to our catching coach, Kevin Plawecki, Randy Knorr, helping run the running game. And then also our pitchers giving the catchers a chance to get guys out at second. It's collective effort to control the running game. But when you got guys that have great arms like our 3 guys, definitely, it certainly makes up for, some of the mistakes in the other areas.
Craig, what have you seen from Estrada since he came back from his little hiatus? Looks like he made good use of that time.
Yeah, he did. I think, it's just smart. Sometimes we try to pitch through things as pitchers, and there's other times where you just got to nip it in the bud right away and take a little bit of time off, get yourself healthy, and get back to who you are. And I think that was a big part of what Jeremiah was able to do, is take, not only a physical breather, but a little bit of a hey, how can I reset this in the right way and work on my mechanics and get back to who I am, and he's certainly done that.
You mentioned after the game last night, when you kept Adam in to face Ohtani and then ultimately he faced Mookie Betts, that was a bit of you going with feel, going with your gut. Do you think, because of your history as a player, as a reliever in particular, that maybe that lends itself to maybe following your feel for relievers when you're faced with those kinds of decisions?
I don't know. I think there was a few times early in the season where it didn't work out in my favor. Last night it did.
Yeah.
I felt good. One, feel over Jason, his velocity was a little bit up last night. Looked like he was feeling pretty good. I know he's been putting a lot of work on the side to get that velo back a little bit. And then, his numbers against Ohtani and Betts were pretty solid. And so I felt very comfortable about, past at-bats against guys in the history. And then I was able to save more at home, too, in case we really needed him for Freeman and Tucker. And then also, if we didn't need him, now we got a fresh Adrian for today and the rest of the series and the next few days.
How have you enjoyed that part of the job?
I've enjoyed it quite a bit because, I sat out in the bullpen for a very long time wondering, trying to manage the game with the manager and who he's going to bring in, when he's going to bring in, why he was doing this, why he was doing that. And, now I get to actually make the decisions, put my money where my mouth is. And all those times where I was second guessing the manager and was probably wrong a lot, now I get to be second guessed. So I'm enjoying that part.
You mentioned those early instances. Are those lessons, or is that just kind of the nature of the beast? You're going to have some good calls, some calls that maybe don't go the way you envision?
Yeah, I think both. Definitely learning experiences, but also not everything's going to work out the way you planned, and you can make a perfect move and it just not work out. We're human beings out there playing a game, and sometimes the other guy does better than the guy on the mound.
Have you found yourself to be more of a go with your gut manager than you thought, or less? Or what have you learned about what you are as a manager versus what you thought you were?
I don't know. The only person I know how to be is myself, and that's just what I'm trying to be out there. I'm trying to back up decisions, not just like willy-nilly go for whatever. Usually there's a thought behind it. Sometimes that thought may not be the best thought, but for the most part, I feel like I'm pretty calculated.